Good evening and welcome to the Value of Coaching webinar. My name is Katlego Matlala. I am the Junior Brand Manager for SACAP and I will be your host for this evening. I will now hand over to Lata, who will kick us off with the webinar.
Thank you, Katlego. And good evening to one and all. And you know, the topic for today is the value of coaching. And I'm going to invite you to reflect on the word value. What does value mean to you? And as we do that, I'm going to introduce myself as to where I come from and where am I going. My background has been in business, finance, and operations management for the past most probably 40 years, of which 26 has been in finance, business, and operations. And in the last 15 years, I've been in the coaching industry, and it has been an amazing journey. In terms of credentialing, I hold a master coach credential, and that's as much I can say about myself. What I have as an outcome for today's session is really to use my presence to inspire you, to work on yourself and move into actions. And from there, we can discuss what coaching is. So what is coaching? We often say what is, what we should do, and what we should not do. So I'm going to go through what is coaching and what coaching is not. So let's look at what is coaching. Coaching is a conversation. It's where we spend time to talk, time to think. It's also very contractual. We have a contract between the coach and their client. The third thing of what coaching is, it is where you work with your life experiences. What is actually happening to you right now? It is very present and very future focused. And fourthly, it moves around your potential, your growth, your development. The ICF defines coaching, and the ICF is actually the International Coaching Federation. And this is what they define coaching as. It is partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires your clients to maximize their personal as well as their professional potential. Let us now move into what coaching is not. And please remember, as I say, what coaching is not, let's go back to that contractual agreement. When you're in a coaching agreement, coaching is not consulting. It is really not giving advice. It is not counseling. It is not therapy. It's not sharing your experiences as in mentoring. And it is not training. It is not telling. I'm going to move on to some of the benefits of coaching, and there are many. And just offhand, as I think of them, some of the benefits for one as a coach is that you have personal growth. There are challenges that we have in life. You work through your challenges. You understand your strengths. You're able to manage change. And today the buzzword is diversity and inclusion. You get to understand that. Most of us are going through stress and conflict at the moment. There are tools around that. Work-life balance and out-of-the-box thinking. There are so many values, but what I'm going to do is maybe zoom in on 3 of them. And the first one I'd like to zoom in on is the journey of exploration. So let's look at that picture that we've just seen a second ago. What do you see here? Do you see the deep seas? Do you see the iceberg? Do you see me as an individual? Or do you go back to the movie Titanic? So let's move on, because what you see is really the results and actions of what is beneath us. So coaching is about really shifting perspectives, exploring, going deeper. And when I say deeper, it is understanding what are the habits of each individual? What are their patterns? What are their stories? What are the fears? What are the assumptions they're making? And as we explore deeper, we work on our personal growth. So let's move over to see what is the impact as we work below the iceberg. It has a ripple effect. When I've worked on myself and I have become self-aware, and that happens to you as well. You have learned all the skills in terms of development. And please note, everyone's journey is different. But there's an impact of this ripple effect. It impacts your family. It impacts your friends. And as we go into the business environment, the companies, because it's a culture of coaching, the company, the employees are impacted. Business, organizations, if you work within communities and NGOs, it also has an impact, the ripple effect. And thereafter, we move towards our legacy. It's the worldly impact that we make, the universal impact. You know, I have a saying that when I work on myself, I'm able to interact with the world. So that's the first value that I'd like to share with you. Let's move on to the next value. And this is a value that really is very close to me because I've come from a finance and a business background. I definitely moved from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. But when you look at fixed mindset, what was I thinking? My thoughts. I was very stuck. Either I can do it or no, I can't. I stick to what I knew. I never liked receiving feedback. And sometimes I just gave up. Had I had a growth mindset, my thoughts would have been, I can develop my abilities. Challenges help me grow. Feedback is wonderful and constructive. And all I have to do is go into actions and make that effort. So as coaches, what do we see and what do we hear from our clients and the people around us? Let's move forward. So what do you hear? When you see me with a fixed mindset, you will see, I can never succeed. I'm no good, I quit. It's easier for me to give up before I embarrass myself. I was not born with these skills, and I hate a challenge. If you see someone who has a growth mindset, they always say, yes, I can do it. I will succeed. I might succeed the next time, if not this time. Who says I won't succeed the next time? And most important, they say, I love a challenge. With that in mind and understanding now a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, let us watch a video by Dr. Carol Dweck, who speaks about a growth mindset and a fixed mindset.
There are two types of mindset we can cultivate. One that embraces problems as opportunities to learn, and one that avoids them, often out of fear to fail. People that avoid conflicts can be described as having a fixed mindset. Those who see problems as interesting challenges have a growth mindset. Sometimes we like to switch from one to the other. People have a fixed mindset because they believe that basic qualities like intelligence or talents are fixed traits and that these traits are responsible for success. They often like to document past achievements. With a growth mindset, people believe that new abilities can be developed through practice. This view creates the love for learning that most great leaders and artists have in common. For them, life becomes an exciting journey with endless opportunity to figure out new things and advance. To develop a growth mindset, Dr. Carol Dweck, the Stanford University professor who coined the term, advises leaders, teachers, and parents to celebrate trying. Teachers should applaud students for any grade if they studied hard. Parents should encourage their children to develop any new skill they are interested in. Doing this will make them learn the skill of learning, which will also help them back in the classroom. To illustrate the difference in everyday life, let's observe two imaginary kids. Jay thinks you've either got it or you haven't. Anne knows that she can learn anything if she wants it enough. At physical exercise, Jay avoids challenges. When it's time to jump over the vaulting horse, he's afraid to look stupid and be laughed at. Anne embraces any challenge. It's exciting, it's fun. She knows that failing is part of learning, and if she tries hard, at the end, nobody will laugh at her. Jay avoids feedback. If the teacher tells him how to improve an assignment he has been working on, he takes it personally. Anne knows that to improve, she needs to listen to constructive criticism. She also understands that it's not her that is being assessed, but the results of her work on that one day. Jay always takes the easy road. For example, he likes escalators and hates to take the stairs. When he is practicing the guitar, he stops the moment he's getting stuck. Anne usually doesn't even take escalators. She jumps up the stairs, counts every step in her head, and enjoys feeling the blood rushing through her veins. She practices the drums every morning for 15 minutes. Not that she always enjoys it, but she knows that effort is part of a journey to a more fun life. Anne likes to see others succeed. It inspires her. She knows that if she motivates her friends to get better, she herself is likely to grow too. If his friends try new things and succeed, Jay feels threatened. He's afraid that their success will put pressure on him to do more with his life too. Modern companies look for employees with a growth mindset because they solve problems and persist despite obstacles. To spot the right ones, some ask during the interview whether the job applicant believes if managers are born or if management is a skill learned. Jay thinks that managers are born. Anne gets the job. Neuroscientists support the idea. They confirm that the brain grows like any other muscle in the body, with training. Studies show that adopted twins tend to have higher intelligence compared to their siblings who stayed with their biological parents. The difference appears to come from the higher educational levels of adoptive parents and shows that nurture is more important than nature. A simple switch in how a person views a situation can mean the world of difference. Not just the outcome of that situation, the outcome of that person's place in life. As the late poet Samuel Beckett once said, "Ever tried? Ever failed? No matter. Try again. Fail again. Fail better." What do you think about the concept? Is it overly simplistic? And if you buy the idea, do you believe it is possible to make a permanent switch from a fixed to a growth mindset? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below.
Let's take a moment to reflect. What mindset do you currently have? A fixed mindset or a growth mindset? And as you reflect on that, what are you willing to do next? So with that in mind, let's move to the next value of coaching that I'd like to bring to this conversation. Always remember, as individuals, we are whole, we are complete, and we are just moving forward towards our next level of development. And one of the key values of coaching is setting a goal. And I'm sure all of us know about goals. It is setting our intention, a dream, a legacy that we'd like to leave behind. When we talk about goals, we always talk about short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals. And I would like to share with you, for the last 15 years, I've had long-term goals and I moved towards it. But every 3 to 6 months, I have set short-term goals. So when you set a goal, and it normally comes from your conversation where you find there's an area where you shift perspective, where you move from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. You will then come up with something that you would like to set as a goal. And we always look at it as SMART goals. Is that goal specific to me? Can I measure the progress that I'm going to make as I go through the journey? Is it achievable? Is it realistic for me? And does it have a time frame? And as you go through that process, please believe me, we do get stuck. But a coach is there to help you to cross over those hurdles, to deal with those limitations, those roadblocks, and those fears. Your coach will help you to move into action. And remember, action changes things. And from there, you take the responsibility, your client takes the responsibility to move into actions. And what happens? What is the outcome? The outcome is actually results and success. Goal setting. Remember that. And we can now move into conclusion. I just want to check you're there with me. I'm peeping through. Are you there? If there's any questions that you like that comes to mind, please do put it in the Q&A box. We will address it as we move. So in conclusion, the value of coaching. You will acquire coaching skills, and some of them is listening skills, creating trust, rapport. You'll be able, instead of telling, asking questions that evoke insights. Most important, I would say, always do an accredited course. And SACAP is one of them. And Nadia would, share a little bit more as we go through the program. As you acquire the skills, you can use it in your personal life, your business life, executive, and in teams. Coaching does have standards, professional standards, as well as ethical conduct. You're able to apply, it's an application in terms of technical knowledge. There's theories around it, as well as lots of practical skills that you would acquire. And then my 3 values again, the journey of exploring, goal setting, and moving to a mindset which then results in transformation. I would like to close with a quote by Michael Jordan. And he says, a coach is someone that sees beyond your limits and guides you to greatness. With that in mind, I'm going to hand over to Nadia.
Good evening, Lata. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. My name is Nadia Janssen, and I'm the coaching coordinator at SACAP. And this evening, I would like to present the various coaching programs that is delivered at SACAP. SACAP is an accredited institution and focusing specifically on the coaching programs. All of the coaching programs are accredited by the International Coaching Federation as an accredited coach training program. With Commencer, the two short learning programs, which we will look at in more depth in the next few slides, are Commencer Silver approved, and the postgraduate qualification is Commencer Gold approved. As previously mentioned, there are two short learning programs and one postgraduate qualification that's offered on the coach training program at SACAP. The first short learning program is the coach practitioner program, and the second is the advanced coach practitioner program. These programs are non-credit bearing, and at the end of these two short learning programs, you'll receive a certificate of competence that speaks into the training hours as well as the additional coaching activities that you have completed. The coach practitioner program is a 5-month program, which has 3 modules and additional activities, again, which we will cover in the next slide. The advanced coach practitioner program is a 6-month program, and an entrance requirement into the advanced program is the successful completion of the coach practitioner program. So together, the coach practitioner program and the advanced program makes up year 1 of the postgraduate diploma in coaching. So the salmon color and the gray color together makes up year 1 of sort of like the blue solid line at the bottom of the slide. The postgraduate diploma in coaching is an honors equivalent qualification, so it sits on the national qualification framework as a level 8. It runs for 2 years and it's on a part-time basis. The program was designed with the working professional in mind, but there is still a balance because it is an honors equivalent program. So the question is, which qualification suits you best? And I will focus a little bit on each of the specific programs. But what's important to note is that when you start your coaching journey at SACAP, whether you start with the short learning program, the coach practitioner, or whether you are committed and you begin the program with the postgraduate diploma, in the beginning of the program that you sign up for, your class will be a blend of coach practitioner students as well as postgrad students, because all students will complete all modules in succession. So focusing on the coach practitioner program, as I've mentioned before, it's a 5-month program. It does have additional activities that run up to at least 6 months after you completed the final module in that program. So just to very high level touch on the modules within the program, you start off with applied psychology in coaching. The very first module, it's an introduction to psychology. So in class, you'll be introduced to various psychological theories and how these relate to the coaching conversations that you will have in the future with your clients. You would then step into the first of 2 intensive modules, coaching foundations, relationship, and communication skills. This module focuses and introduces students to the ICF competencies as well as the Commencer behavioral standards. It's at this particular moment in your coaching journey that you drive straight into coaching skills and competencies. The final module in this program is facilitating learning and results in coaching. This module allows for a deeper dive into the ICF competencies to move you from doing coaching to being a coach. You are geared with additional tools and and skills to assist you to help and assist move your client forward. All coaching modules require the successful completion of assessments, and these assessments vary depending on the content of the module. For example, assessments can focus on reflective practices. So as a coaching training, you'll be encouraged to journal, you'll be encouraged to self-reflect, track your growth, your self-development as you move through the program. There's also opportunities for academic essays where you can explore different theories that you've been exposed to throughout the modules, and how it's showing up in your coaching conversations, how it would impact you as a coach, but also how it would impact your client. The two modules, Coaching Foundations and Facilitating Learning and Results, are called intensive modules. These modules take place over 4 consecutive days. They usually run from about 8:30 in the morning to like 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Students are expected to be in class for contact time with the educator. This forms part of that ICF accreditation of this program, but it also gives a nice insight into what takes place in a coaching session. So in addition to prescribed readings that you'll have in preparation for the modules and the PowerPoint presentation slides that the educators prepare for class, there's a lot of emphasis on practical components. So as you cover a specific competency in class, you also have an opportunity to practice immediately with your peers, with your educator, and kind of have like demonstration within the class. In addition to attending modules and class time, there are the practical components in the program. The first coaching activity is having to complete 2 observe sessions. The observe sessions is an opportunity for you to demonstrate your competencies. You would have a real coaching session or an authentic session with a real client. And with the permission of your client, you'll record the session, which will then be submitted to a credentialed mentor coach. The mentor coach will listen to your recording, evaluate your session, and give you written feedback based on the ICF competencies, as well as the commensurate behavioral standards. After you've received your feedback, you'll then have an opportunity to meet with that observer coach in what's called an individual mentor coaching session. The individual mentor coaching session is the second coaching activity that you'll complete as part of your program. This session gives you an opportunity to work through that written feedback with your mentor coach. It highlights the competencies that you're comfortable with, that you're doing great at, but then also the areas of development. And in a very coach-like way, you partner with your mentor coach and sort of work on your goals for your coaching, discuss how you'd like to improve on your coaching. And that the easiest way I can sort of explain that, it's like coaching above your coaching. There are 3 of these sessions across the program. And again, just like a great learning opportunity to see how you're articulating what you're learning in class and how you're able to demonstrate or practice that in a coaching conversation with the client. In addition to the 3 mentor coaching sessions, there are 7 hours of group mentor coaching, and this is the 3rd coaching activity. These sessions are divided into 4 different sessions throughout the year. Again, these sessions give you an opportunity to meet with other students that's on the coaching program. These sessions are facilitated by a master credentialed ICF coach. And again, students can share their success stories, their challenges, their concerns, something that you're experiencing, a peer could be experiencing. How can you learn from each other? And then just a great focus on the ICF core competencies again. So to sum up the coach practitioner program, it basically forms the foundation of your coaching. And at the end of this program, you'll be able to run a coaching session from beginning to end. You'll be able to contract with your client, set goals, view options with your client, and then talk your client through the way forward. Moving on to the gray area, the Advanced Coach Practitioner Program. The program is a 6-month program. When registering for this program, you go into like a deeper dive and you're exposed to more coaching models. You'll get an opportunity to grow your coaching toolkit, and there's a bit more depth to it. This part of the program starts off with an evening module called Applying Principles of Adult Learning and Change. And because coaches work with people, it's important to understand behavior and why people do what they do or don't do. So it's important to understand how adults learn, how we all have to work with change management, why change is so hard. And this evening module gives you a nice look into adult learning and understanding motivation. The module also gives you insight into different assessments and tools that you can use when having your coaching session with your client. The next module in the advanced program is Ethics, Values, and Diversity. This module has a deep look into the ICF Code of Ethics in terms of what's allowed, what's within your scope of practice as a coach, the values you have as a coach, but also the values your client holds as a coach. Diversity when working with male clients, female clients, different ages, and Lata mentioned a little bit about diversity in coaching in her talk earlier. The final module for the Advanced Coach Practitioner Program is Coaching Models, Methods, and Tools. This intensive, unlike the first two, runs over 5 days. And in this module, you're introduced to a range of coaching models. You learn coaching techniques, you'll continue to grow your toolkit, you'll select and understand modules that resonates with you. What would you like to use in your coaching program? What sits well with you? And in addition to class time in this module, there are different assessments. It could be an online multiple choice quiz, an application or peer review exercise. And when you step into the advanced program, you also have an additional 4 observed coaching sessions. At the end of the Advanced Coach Practitioner Program, there's a performance evaluation. The performance evaluation is basically a 30 to 40-minute recording, like an observed session, but this time you'll submit it for evaluation with an ICF and Commencer assessor. The outcome of the performance exam will depict at which level or competency you're coaching at. Before moving on to the postgrad program, I'd like to highlight that everything that I've just mentioned thus far about the coach and the coach practitioner and advanced program, again, makes up that first year of the postgrad qualification. So if you are registered as a postgrad, once you've completed the performance exam, you've basically covered year 1 of your studies, and you'll then move into year 2 of your studies, which has 4 modules. So looking at the, I want to say, navy blue column in the end, year 2 has 4 modules. You'll start the second year with building your coaching model. During this module, you'll have an opportunity to have a look at all the coaching models and techniques that you've been exposed to. And you start selecting aspects of each of these theories that resonates with you. So taking what you can and building your own coaching model. As part of the assessments in this module, you'll have an opportunity to present your unique module to your peers and your educator, and you'll receive feedback on it. As you weave through your coaching journey, you'll possibly be taking, adding, building on this presentation that you've put together. And the aim is that this forms part of the foundation of your own coaching practice. After building your coaching model, you'll move into practitioner research methods in coaching, which focuses on the research aspects of coaching. This module forms part of the foundation of a research paper that you would present at the end of your program. The last 6 months of the postgrad includes a 6-month supervised internship. During the internship, you'll have an opportunity to complete 100 paid coaching hours. And this can be added to your coaching log in order for you to credential with the ICF. We'll chat about that on the slide. And during your internship at SACAP, you'll be allocated with an internship as well as research supervisor. Your supervisor basically is there to support you while you are at various placement sites, to debrief, to get an opportunity to be guided. Your research supervisor will speak into data collection, data analysis, themes, how to present your case study. At the very end of the postgrad, you will have an oral presentation that gives you the opportunity to reflect on your 2-year journey at SACAP and just to share your self-development as a coach. So that's basically the postgrad as well as the SACAP programs in a nutshell. The slide that we have up now speaks into the ICF credentialing process. So for students who registers on the Coach Practitioner Program, the list there is that because SACAP is your training provider, you have the specific standard requirements is that, you have, I think it's 60 hours of training. The Coach Practitioner Program currently carries 115 hours, so there's a check mark there. Students will receive the mentor coaching, which is made up of your individual mentor coaching as well as your group mentor coaching sessions. It would be the student's responsibility, though, to complete the ICF online questionnaire, to submit a performance evaluation, and while you're on your coaching journey, to submit 100 hours of coaching. We do encourage and motivate students to start coaching pretty early on in the coaching program. I think as early as the first intensive, which was coaching foundations, you'll be required to just start coaching. The more and often you practice, you can grow your log, you become more confident and comfortable as a coach. In the next column with the advanced program, this is delivered on a professional certified coach level, also known as a PCC level. You are required to have 125 training hours, which is a check, as well as the 10 mentor coaching hours. There's a check and performance evaluation. So this check mark indicates the aspects that are covered once you complete the program with SACAP. It will be the student's responsibility then to complete the online questionnaire as well as the additional coaching hours. And if you look at the last column, the postgraduate diploma, it's also delivered on a PCC level. And to credential with the ICF, you require, again, 125 hours of training, which is checked, the 10 hours of mentor coaching, both the performance evaluation. And then in addition, because you've completed the 6-month internship component, you would then have 100 hours of coaching. Your responsibility would then be to grow your log, to gather, additional coaching hours, and to complete the online questionnaire. So that is, from a very high level, the coaching programs and credentialing process that, the SACAP coaching program covers. And I'd like to hand over to Will.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. As they introduced me, I very recently graduated, so I finished the 2-year diploma. When was it? I think June or July. I did my final presentation, and I just want to talk to you briefly about what my experience was. So I have done quite a bit of postgrad studies and some degrees and so on, and this is probably one of the most intensive change processes that I have gone through in my life. So my experience and my philosophy around learning is not about getting the marks. It's not about getting the certification. It's about the amount of change that what you learn actually brings to your life. And as you can imagine, in order to have intensive change, you need to have an intensive process. So I can honestly say that this is intense. It takes a commitment. It is going to require you to maybe ask a few friends to check in with you after your exams and your processes are done. And it is going to ask you to ask for support from your family and friends, especially when your classes go into the evening and you still have an assignment to submit, or you need to do some coaching, practicing and recording in order to submit it for a observed mentor session. And at the same time, I can't emphasize enough the amount of support that you're going to have from your lecturers and your classmates. So you really grow very fond and very close to the people who you work with. I think because you are changing so much as an individual. And I did my course over 2 years during COVID, so I never had the opportunity to meet them in person, literally until Tuesday when I graduated. And it feels like you've known these people forever because you go through so much. So in terms of the workload, I'm fully full-time employed. So I was working at Capitec Bank at the time. And it was a very demanding job. So it was an intensive process for me to do this in the evenings. And to be honest with you, I created a very strict schedule around which I worked. And sometimes I had to coach into the evenings, and I put out some weekend afternoons in order to study and coach. And would I change any of that? Absolutely not. So I really want to encourage you with the framework that has been presented, with the support that is there, with a program that is literally laid out to give you everything that you need in order to open up your own professional practice, which I have done this year, and to step into the industry as a competent and capable and confident coach, with all of the support, all of the knowledge that you might need in order to step into that field. I can honestly say that SACAP provides that. So the last part that I would like to also present is that the support that you're going to receive during your change process, when it is with reflections or when it is with your mentorship conversations and your journaling and the group coaching that is going to be offered to you, as well as the classes that you attend with the intensive. I have never been in a space where a learning experience has been so supportive, demanding, caring, and nurturing at the same time. So it is going to be a lot of work. It is going to be intensive. You are going to have to make temporary changes in your life for a few months or years, and I can promise you it is worth it. So at this stage, I'm going to hand back over to Nadia and the team. And if you have any questions, please do ask.
Thank you very much to our team for that insightful information. And thank you so much, Walt, for sharing your insight with us. The very first question that came through on our end is, what strategies do you suggest for those of us who are new to coaching on how to start a person off on this journey where the person is in need and does not know his or her next? Lata, do you maybe want to assist us with that?
And I'm going to share the fact that you're at this webinar today shows that there is something that has brought you to this. As we speak right now, I'm going to invite you to reflect. What is my thinking around coaching? How am I feeling right now? And then you're going to ask yourself some questions, because coaching is about asking questions. Do I want to help people? Do I want to support people? Am I aware that the answers lie within every individual? And with that in mind, my invitation to you at this stage is to talk to SACAP. They have various individuals that are here to help you. And I'm going to hand over to Nadia to add to that.
Thank you, Lata. Yes, I think just asking the right question, reaching out, the SACAP team, whether you reach out to the SACAP team, Lata, I'm sure you'll agree with me, if you reach out to a coach and have a coaching session around that question, yeah, that could also be useful. But you could reach out to anyone, basically, and we can try to find out if there's perhaps a program that we could offer you, perhaps point you in the right direction of a coach if you need to have that conversation as well. I hope that adds a little bit of value.
Thank you so much, ladies. Another one coming through, and this one says, if you want to complete the short course initially and want to complete the rest later, how much time do you need in between to complete the remainder of the programs, should you be interested? Nadia, if you can, please just help us out with that one there.
Yes, thanks, Kat. So life happens. As I mentioned earlier, the program was designed with, a working profession in mind. Our coaching students are fully employed, like Will said earlier. fully employed, sometimes high demanding jobs, family life. We've just navigated an entire pandemic, so we understand that life happens. So at the moment, the policy kind of does state that you can take a 3-term break, and 3 terms usually translate into about a year. Coaching modules only run once a year. We only have 1 intake, so you'd have to wait 3 terms before the modules presented again, and you'll kind of pick up from where the program you've left off, or the module that you've had to excuse yourself from.
Thank you, Nadia. I'm going to ask you to just stay with me just a little bit, because there's another one that I need your help with. And it says, is there a certificate for the short programs?
So yes, all the coach programs that's delivered at SACAP is accredited with the ICF. And because of that, you can credential with the ICF. But in terms of, sitting on the NQF, the short learning programs, you'll receive a certificate of completion for the coach practitioner program, as well as the advanced coach practitioner program. And for the postgrad, obviously, you'll receive an honors degree for that, a postgrad diploma.
Thank you for that. I'm just trying to check the Q&A box. Another one coming through. Nadia, please just stay with me a little bit longer. How many times do you attend face-to-face classes?
So the way the coaching program set up at the moment, there's a blend between evening modules and intensive modules. And the evening modules run once a week for 3 hours, usually between like 6 and 9. So ideally, the coaching students either working from home, or you're able to get home and log on from home. It's online. And these sessions usually run for about 10 weeks. So for example, you'll perhaps have a class every Tuesday evening from 6 to 9 for 10 weeks. The intensive modules though, because they are usually from a Tuesday to a Friday from about 8 till 4:30, you can easily get zoomed out. So these sessions are face-to-face, either at the Cape Town or Johannesburg campus. So and the additional coaching activities, so your observed and mentor coaching sessions and group mentor coaching sessions, these are all done online. So you don't have to, if you want to meet your real or authentic client face-to-face, you can, but it doesn't have to be, because we require a recording, and it's usually an audio recording. It can be done online, face-to-face, and we just require that audio submission. Your mentor coaches also, if you're geographically located close to each other and you're both happy to meet on site, you can, but usually these sessions also take place online. So in terms of face-to-face contact, it is for the intensive modules.
Thank you so much. I think just to follow up on the intensive modules, there's a question that came in, Nadia, asking if you have to be based in Cape Town. Maybe if you can just clarify that for us, please.
So the intensive modules are delivered on Cape Town campus and Johannesburg campus. And if you are in a position, you would probably and possibly have to travel to either one of those campuses in order to attend the face-to-face intensive modules. What's really great is that you have a timetable almost, 6 months in advance. So we're able to share a timetable with you, which allows you to plan. So you can plan your travel dates, you can make arrangements. If you have family living in Cape Town, that'll be great, or Joburg, whichever campus is closest to you. But yeah, you do need to attend you can be based anywhere, because you can attend your evening sessions from anywhere, but just have to make sure that you're either close to Cape Town or Joburg campuses for the intensive modules.
Thank you, Nadia. Another one coming through in the chat box. It says, I have done and completed basic life coaching with set hours with another institution in 2016. I have an honors in psychology. Do I need to do the basic practitioner program with SACAP?
So all coaching students, if you enroll on a coaching coaching program, all students begin with the first module, which is applied psychology and coaching. These form part of the credits that contributes towards the postgrad diploma in coaching. So all students, whether you're registered on the coach practitioner program or the postgrad diploma, all students begin at the same place, which is, applied psychology and coaching. The credits, the assessments, the contact hours, the coaching activities, all contribute, and they sort of like build onto each other. So you do need to start at the very beginning with the coach practitioner program.
Thank you so much for that. Just popping into the chat box to see if there are any questions. Another one coming through saying, can I register anytime for a short course, or is there a closing date?
There is a closing date. The closing date would be, I want to say, end of April next year. So there's a lot of time to sign up, but the course does begin around end of May next year. So there's lots of time to apply for the course.
If they did a previous qualification in psychology and a previous life coaching course with an institution, can you transfer credits for that to SACAP?
So the training, the previous coaching training that you've done would need to have been ICF accredited training, specifically in order for you to accumulate the credits and the training hours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Will, for assisting there with clarity on the question. I'm just trying to have a look to see if there's any more questions. We have been getting a few comments just on the fees or questions on the fees. My colleague will be sharing these and has shared already on the chat box the link to all our fees, and these are coaching fees included in that as well. I'm just trying to see if there's any more questions for the panel at the moment. If there are any more questions from any of our attendees, please send them through. So just another one that's just come through, asking if we are CETA accredited. I know, Nadia, you spoke a little bit into ICF and Comensa. If you can maybe just clarify that for us, please.
So we do sit on, so we are accredited with the Department of Higher Education and Training. So if you complete the coach practitioner, the honors program with SACAP, if you would like to sort of further your studies, if you'd like to complete your master's degree in coaching, for example, you can take the qualification that you have with SACAP and you can apply at a different institute who does offer a master's program in coaching. So we are recognized by the Department of Higher Education and Training. The coaching program is, in addition to being accredited with the ICF and recognized by Comensa.
Thank you so much for that. There seems to be no more questions coming in, and we have actually just come to the end of the session. Let me just see one more time. There's just one more question. It says, what are the articulation options once the post-grad and coaching is completed? Just one more question before we close off.
So you're able to apply for a master's program at any institute having completed the postgrad diploma in coaching at SACAP. So you are able to complete further studies. There's another. Can I decide to convert to the postgrad diploma after completing the coach practitioner program? There's a small window of opportunity where you can, based on whether or not you meet the entrance requirements. And for the postgrad diploma in coaching, the requirement is that you have an undergraduate degree, any undergraduate degree. It doesn't have to be in psychology or coaching.
Awesome.
Thank you. Everything.
Thank you so much, Nadia. But we have come to the end of our Q&A session, thus bringing us to a close for the webinar. I'd like to just thank our team for coming through and sharing very insightful information with us on the value of coaching. And I'd like to thank each and every one of our attendees for taking the time out to be with us this evening. Without wasting any further time, good night, and we hope to see you soon for more of our events coming soon.